Hey everyone, my name is Greg, and welcome to the ninth episode of the live show. Today I'm joined by Enrique and Vic, both employees here at Midtown Comics Times Square, both incredibly awesome people, and today you're going to find out why. Yeah. I mean, looking at them, you can already tell that they're both just amazing, but they'll win you over even more
Looks
soon
are
enough.
everything to Greg, apparently.
Yes.
I love art, I hate writing, so
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we got someone that works here that thinks like you.
I was kidding, but all right. Anyway, let's open with the cover that you see right here by Jason Fabok and Brad Anderson. It's actually, not sure if you can tell, it's a lenticular cover. It has Batman and the Flash. This is the start of the Button. It's a crossover between Batman and the Flash, following up the mystery that was established when Rebirth started. If you've read Watchmen, you know what that button is. If you haven't read Watchmen, what gives? Go read it. So I enjoyed it a lot. Let's start with you, Vic. Have you read it? And
Yes.
okay, you obviously liked it. We've talked about this already.
Yeah,
New
we
Comic Book Day video. But let's elaborate for the people who are watching
Sure,
now.
yeah.
Why should they read the Button?
If anyone had been wondering what from the DC Rebirth issue, what was going to happen next, this definitely it feels like it picks up from the it's the next page, and it's an excellent story. It's essentially a minute with Batman, which I didn't know could be done.
It can be taken a lot of ways.
It can be taken a lot of ways. It's not the good way. But it's really good. It's very it sets up a lot of the mystery. You get more questions than you do get answers, but you're definitely getting a sense that the story is going to be very big where it's leading towards. And the art from Jason Fabok is amazing. He's definitely always on point, and Tom King has been doing really good work with Batman so far this year. So it was a really great issue, and I'm excited for the Flash issue next week.
Enrique, have you read this?
I have read it.
All right, what'd you think?
I really love the issue. I've been a big fan of Tom King's Batman series overall lately. I'm not a huge Batman fan traditionally, but Tom King has brought me into his narrative. I really think that he captures Bruce's voice well and establishes a cool repertoire. But more so with this issue, I like that it seems like this wasn't a rushed job. They're really taking their
Is that
time.
an intentional pun? Rushed, considering the characters in here?
That is an appropriate term. But it's very fun because for anybody who read the Rebirth one-shot, this is a really good follow-up to it. And much like that, had a lot of subtle cues to the original Watchmen, subtle things done with the layout, with the way that the camera pans. They actually managed to do that a lot here, which I think is really great. Jason Fabok clearly took a lot of time and in classic Watchmen fashion, uses things such as the 9-panel grid, fade-in shots, zooming in on singular points that show that this isn't just a book that's trying to capitalize on a quick cash grab. This is something they're really passionate about and telling a good story. I definitely think it helps that Jeff Johns is overseeing the project because Jeff Johns did a wonderful job last year with DC Rebirth, probably the best title of the year. And I think that this is a really satisfying follow-up for people that have been waiting. And also, if you haven't been reading the book regularly, you don't feel like you've been missing out. It does feel like it picks up right after. If you have been reading, there are little things that play on the previous storylines that I think are really cool, especially the minute spent with Batman. We've actually seen similar things done in the last few issues, such as Batman's time spent with Bane. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'll say, as a longtime Flash fan, they did something with this issue that I never, in my 15 years of reading Flash, have ever thought of, and that was genius. I'll say that.
Fair enough.
Once
Now,
again, proving that Batman is the world's greatest detective.
yeah, I think considering the preview was out for this book and it revealed the character who's in it, I think it's okay to say that Reverse Flash does play a role. We don't want to elaborate too much. Yeah. And it's very easy to nitpick this issue because Batman, despite being Batman, he performs pretty well. I mean, I've seen some people nitpicking about that. Maybe it isn't a totally one-sided encounter.
Right.
But at the same rate, I think there's a lot of context which justifies it. I mean, I think Tom King's script makes it clear that Reverse Flash is a pretty arrogant guy, and he's having fun with it. He's taking his time, and yeah. So, yeah.
Excellent stuff.
It is. It is.
It was really great, and I'm really excited for next week. The follow-up in Flash number 21. Bringing Howard Porter on art for next issue is going to be really cool. He was the artist who was drawing Flash when I got into it 15 years ago, so seeing him come back to the title, that's really exciting for me.
So up next over at Marvel, we are going to one of Vic's picks this week. Which one is it?
It's Secret Empire. Yeah. I read this yesterday, and the one word that completely describes what this book is heartbreaking. With a capital H. This book will break your heart. Oh yeah, I mean it should be right because he's Hail Hydra, but that's what it does. Like you get to see essentially your favorite hero of all time essentially not care and win at being a villain because that's exactly what this whole issue is the villains actually winning and how it goes down. If you've been reading Captain America, the Steve Rogers run in particular since the issue 1, every single thing that Nick Spencer has done, laid out all the groundwork that he laid down, finally pays off in this one issue, and it hits hard. It's really difficult to see Captain America, telling Sharon Carter like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'll try to explain," and being dragged away by Hydra agents and everyone just like being the supreme leader, and then everyone just being perplexed, like, how could this happen? It hurts. So and that's good, and I mean that in a good way, because then it's the writing that Nick Spencer has done right here for the story is really phenomenal. The art might throw people off because Daniel Acuna is on it. Not really like a big player for like a lot of the event books they do. You would expect like Steve McNiven, Lennon Yu, any one of those guys to do like a big event book. But I honestly think that his art is actually going to work well for this. There's a lot of colors, a lot of darks around here around Captain America. Especially with Cap, definitely loses a lot of shadow to just just to show you how like dark this is gonna get. It was very impressed. Not a big fan of like the entire direction of Cap being a Hydra agent, but reading it and reading the issue and reading the story, you can't deny that it's really well written.
Yeah. There's more than just a twist, people. I understand that some people don't want to see one of their favorite characters go in that direction, but context is important. Obviously, at the end of the day, things are probably going to go back to normal for Cap. But in the meantime, might as well enjoy a good story while we have it. Enrique, what do you think of Secret Empire 0?
I think it's fantastic. I think it's really cool because Secret Empire is a justified event. For me, I feel that many times people can feel event fatigue and they can have worry from it. But what I like about Secret Empire is that it's a justified event. It feels like the natural culmination of the storyline because Captain America has been building to this for about a year now. He launched last May, so coming up on a year. And I think it's actually very appropriate. I think what I really like about it is that all the buildup to this has been interwoven between multiple titles, between the Sam Wilson title, between Secret Empire, even a couple of books this week that very subtly managed to build into this, and it really shows you just what an impact Captain America has on the world around him. You don't think about it often, but if we go back to, say, the death of Captain America, you really realize the iconography behind the character and how much he means to the people. Captain America is the gold standard, so seeing that gold standard tainted, seeing that gold standard turn and twist, that is really powerful, and I think that's why Vic was able to get such an emotional reaction from it. And that's great. If you can have a comic that makes you upset, that makes you churn up inside, that means that they're doing something right with the book. And I'm very excited to see how this plays out. I know that the ongoing is going to have some art from Mark Brooks and Andrea Sorrentino, who are a couple of the most talented artists that Marvel has right now. So I'm really curious to see how it hands out.
So what are your other 2 comic recommendations this week?
This week, it is issue 3 of Warren Ellis's rebooted run of the Wildstorm. I love this series so far. If you guys have been reading it, Warren Ellis is really into sci-fi. This is as high sci-fi as it gets. Grifter finally gets the mask, which blew my mind as I turned the page and he's just putting it on. I loved it. Artwork's great from John Davis Hunt, who did this cover right here. If you've never read any Wildstorm stuff, Authority, Wildcat, Stormwatch, that does not matter. You can easily jump into this series, very fresh with new open eyes, and it's more of like a celebration of the entire line. And my other pick is The Return of the Shaolin Cowboy. If you guys have never read Shaolin Cowboy, you are missing out. This guy is awesome. He is a Zen Buddhist Shaolin Cowboy with like the spoken jaw of John Wayne. So just imagine John Wayne being a Buddhist and still a cowboy in some kind of post-apocalyptic wasteland, and that's essentially what this is. The artwork's from Jeff Darrow, who did a lot of the concept art on the Matrix films, so it's extremely detailed, and it's essentially a sequel from the last story that Dark was put out. So if anyone had read the last sequel and was a little disappointed with how that ended, this picks up exactly where that left off, and if you can see, he's going to be alive. I love Shaolin Cowboy. This is definitely a really cool Dark Horse indie title that I highly recommend everyone read and search out and look for.
Do you want to show off a page or two?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. So basically, this is what Jeff Dow is mostly known for. All that detail. He does a lot of variant covers for the Dark Horse Presents book, so you always see his art on there. He's done
For a while, and his Deadpool covers were phenomenal.
for the longest. He's worked with Frank Miller, Big Guy and Rusty. He did Hard Boiled also with Frank Miller. He's one of my favorite artists and writers out there.
Very cool. Enrique, you also want to recommend 3 new comics, which...
Do indeed.
Yes.
First among them is Invincible Iron Man #6. This is the Riri Williams book that has had a lot of talk about it. It's actually one of my favorite titles that Marvel is putting out right now. I think Riri Williams is a fun, interesting young character, and what I like is that as much as it is an Iron Man title, it also feels very much like a Spider-Man narrative. She's very much the young character that's growing into the role who doesn't necessarily know her place in the world, and I think it's really cool. The art by Stefano Caselli is outstanding. He's one of my favorite artists in comics. I've been loving his work since way back in Avengers: The Initiative, and he's always top-notch. He kills it. The book's fantastic. Invincible Iron Man, Brian Michael Bendis, he never does bad. And especially when he's focusing on a really intense character narrative like this, I think that he really excels. Additionally, I have Batwoman, and Batwoman is really cool. It's Marguerite Bennett and Steve Epting. I almost blanked for a second there. Steve Epting, who of course has done a number of collaborations with Ed Brubaker. Most notably, he was on Captain America. But the book is really cool. Batwoman is exploring her own past and bringing to light things that we never knew about the character. She's one of my favorite female characters that DC has, and it's really great seeing her in a proper title. I loved her back in the day when it was Greg Rucka and J.H. Williams. I'm really happy to see that this book is performing the way that I wanted to. I also love the variant covers by J.G. Jones. One of them I'm showing right here. J.G. Jones actually did the covers for 52 where she first debuted. So seeing him draw the character and really do these cool covers is just great. I mean, this is just fantastic art.
Did you talk to Rebecca about this issue yet?
I have not actually, because I read this book today and I have not seen her. I know she's the resident Batwoman aficionado, but I'm sure that she loved it because she loves everything. But it's honestly a great book that you should be checking out. Batwoman is a really cool character, and she has a very distinctive voice. I actually like, it feels kind of like an old school DC superheroine book. It feels like the old Birds of Prey stuff and stuff like that. It's very cool. Then one of my favorite titles that Marvel is currently putting out right now is also U.S.Avengers. U.S.Avengers is absolutely fantastic. Al Ewing is writing it and Paco Medina on art. It's really cool. I really like that it's focusing on a couple of side characters that traditionally don't get a lot of sunlight. Mostly that they're really focusing on Sunspot. This issue ties in with Secret Empire, but in a subtle way, so if you aren't reading the main story, you won't be completely thrown off by it. But it's also fun because you get to see a different side of Captain America. You get to see him as the annoying boss. Captain America is the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., and now Sunspot runs underneath S.H.I.E.L.D., so having Captain America as his boss, Captain America basically comes in and is like, so we need to talk about a couple of the things you're doing. And they have a very funny, witty banter, and it's just great to see that this book, even with tying in with an event, is able to be flawless. Al Ewing does the best event tie-ins of any writer in comics. I stand by that. He is never disappointed. So, yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much. I have 3 quick recommendations as well. Latest issue of Green Arrow by Ben Percy and Juan Ferreira. You have a cover right there by Juan Ferreira. It's the start of a brand new story arc. The Ninth Circle is targeting Oliver Queen in a whole new way. It is just a brutal beginning. You have a lot of villains in there that you may have not expected to see before. The return of one of my favorite Green Arrow villains, Danny Brickwell. He's in this as well. So, yes, Brick.
Brick, that's awesome. Yeah. Brick is really cool. I haven't read the issue yet.
Yeah. Also Cheshire. She's in it as well. So, yeah, it's if you have any interest in the Emerald Archer whatsoever, pick up this issue. Let's see, what's next? If only I could see the other side of the comic. All right, next is Super Sons by Peter Tomasi and Jorge Jimenez. It is fun. That's all that really needs to be said about it. It is just energetic. It'll make you smile. It's such a good time. The dynamic between Damien and John is so fun. They're 2 competitive brothers, and it's just an adorable and entertaining book. I mean, it gets Vic's seal of approval as well as Enrique's.
Series. I look forward to it every month. Like you said, the dynamic between the two kids is exactly what sells the book, and it's what I was looking forward to the most. And just seeing Damien act more like a child around John, who seems to be playing more the straight man, is just I love it. It's so good.
Okay. And let's see, what else am I recommending? I should probably have that memorized. Superman, also by Peter Tomasi. I expect to check Peter. That would be greatly appreciated, as well as co-written by Pat Gleason. He is also illustrating it. I believe Danny Mickey is on inks. Or maybe I'm totally in the wrong there. Or no, Mick Gray, I believe. I was incorrect there. Danny Mickey is over on Batman. Anyway, so Superman, this is part 2 of a brand new story. This is also featuring the Bat family. Damian is in here as well, as is Batman. It's just a lot of fun. It's a continuation of what has already occurred in the series. I don't want to give too much stuff away.
Yeah, it does give away a lot. Yeah, I've read the issue. If you hadn't been reading Superman, I don't recommend spoiling this issue because it does play into stuff that's been building since the first issue.
Yeah, you may feel just a little lost, but you can still jump on with the story arc and then go play catch up afterwards. It's well worth reading. And then I have an honorable mention, which I have not read yet, but I have nothing but faith in it. I Hate Fairyland by Scotty Young, with of course a Lone Wolf and Cub reference right there. Just pure Scotty Young Unleashed. It is twisted, fun, it's hilarious, and it'll warm your heart and make you laugh. It's just a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, cool. And then very quickly, we're also going to mention that Captain Marvel has found its directors. I guess the co-directors of Mississippi Grind, Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck. My knee-jerk reaction, I have no strong feelings one way or the other. I'm not familiar with their work, but it's cool that they have a co-directors.
I've heard of the movie Mississippi Grind. Haven't seen it, but I guess I'm going to have to now to get a sense of their style. But it's good that they finally have a set of directors to get the project going. So now hopefully we'll start hearing some more about casting or what the direction they want to take it in.
Yeah, for what it's worth, Mississippi Grind has a very positive score on Rotten Tomatoes. To each their own, yeah. So, and you were also unfamiliar with them, right?
I'm largely unfamiliar. I do appreciate that there will be a female voice directing this. I know that that's a really important concern for a lot of people, and I think justifiably so. I think it's really important that Marvel, with their first female-led movie for their cinematic universe, that they do have that female voice. So I am excited about that. I'm very curious to see how the movie pans out. Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers in general, has been one of my favorite characters at Marvel for years. I'm a big fan of her series from the mid-2000s written by Brian Reed, where she was still Miss Marvel. And so seeing that she is going to be brought to film is going to be fantastic. I have really high hopes, and I'm very curious to see where they go.
Okay, cool. And then real quick, friendly reminder that we have another edition of the Warehouse Mega Sale this Saturday. Vic, are you working at?
This will be one of the first times I won't be there this Saturday, guys. Okay. So if you guys are expecting me there, I apologize. I will not be there. But you guys got to go. The warehouse sales are always fantastic. We always get a lot of great crowds to come out and buy. You find so many back issues. Like, the guys will be there all day just digging. You'll find they know what they're looking for. Plus, we'll have pops, figures. Everything is on sale. It's maddening. Please just come out and just buy everything we have.
Yeah. You can find sales as high as up to 80% off at the warehouse sale. So once again, that is this Saturday. If you want more information on that, go to blog.midtowncomics.com or go to our Facebook event page. It's over there as well. Enrique, will you be working that?
I will not. I'll be here manning the fort. Saturdays, I'm generally rocking the Times Square location. But we do actually get a lot of people that swing from the warehouse that come on by because they get so much of the warehouse that it brings them right here and they want even more. But the warehouse sales are always fantastic. I hear nothing but fantastic things. Getting 80% off of a statue can be absolutely, wonderful. I mean, you can get a $100 statue for $20. I mean, I've had friends who have picked up statues for me when I couldn't make it to the sales and stuff like that. So even if you can't make it, send your loved ones, send your friends, send your pets. Have them buy you all these wonderful things from the warehouse.
80%. Have we all gone mad? 80%. It's crazy.
This is quickly turning into an infomercial. Also, we have 2 sales going online right now. There is a back issue sale as well as an action figure sale. To take advantage of those, go to midtowncomics.com. They'll be on the rotating banners, so be sure to check that out. Also, next week, we have a signing with Peter David to celebrate Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, #1. Find details for that also on Facebook under the events, or you can go to... just follow our Twitter and Instagram. We'll be posting reminders of that very frequently. Hopefully, we'll see you guys there. Yeah, flyers in store as well. So if you stop by, there's also a poster as well. And also, going to give some love. There's also Midtown Comics Grand Central and Midtown Comics Downtown, two other great locations. Be sure to check those out. Just because you came here doesn't mean you should stop here. Yeah. Do the Midtown Comics tour if you're ever in the city. Check out all the stores. All the staff is great. They'll be happy to talk to you about comics and make some personalized recommendations to each and every one of you. And then last and definitely not least, Teen Titans: The Judas Contract is currently available. The Blu-ray and DVD is currently available in store or online.
Yeah,
and there's there's a collector's edition which comes with a Blue Beetle figurine. Very entertaining
really cool
movie.
Blue Beetle figure, actually. I really like that figure. It does indeed, and as a Jaime Reyes fan, I definitely was staring at it quite a bit because it's really cool and it's a really great figure. The DC figures that they've been putting out with these animated movies are always really nice, so I'm glad that they're keeping that up.
So, any final thoughts for all the people watching on Facebook Live?
Guys, come on down to the store. Whenever you guys need any recommendations, need any books, just come find myself, Enrique, any of the guys at the store, anyone, any of the guys at any of the locations. We are glad to help you with whatever you're looking for.
Enrique, final words to all the people watching on Facebook Live.
I definitely second what Vic says. Come on by. We love having people by. We love having conversation. We love recommending. And, you know, that's one of the great things about coming to a comic shop is really getting to have that community feel. So you guys should swing on by if you can't. That's okay. You're tuning in. Thanks for checking it out. Hope we can provide the community via the internet. And you guys should check us out online. We've got tons of great stuff. Definitely check out the back issue sales because God knows there's 10,000 comics of 10,000 different characters and you just can't get enough. Definitely pick up some of that stuff. So, yeah.
So thank you very much for watching the 9th episode. We hope you enjoy reading new comics and be good to each other.